And then as we get a little older and we investigate the scripture a little bit and we look at the idea a little more closely, then we have this thought or this idea of the kingdom of heaven is within you. And so it forces us to reevaluate that other concept. If the kingdom is within me, where am I going when I make my transition? And it's a scriptural thought or idea. And a great number of Christians choose not to look at that scripture. They don't want to look at it. Others of us have taken a look at it. And so now we have this idea that the kingdom of heaven is within us. And so we file that away, and then we add a little more to it, and then we go, the seeking of that kingdom is through meditation and prayer, getting into the attitude. And these are our little formulas, so to speak, and the formulas will probably never change. That is the way, is through meditation and prayer, through introspection, through thought, if you will, whatever name that you want to put on it, but you have to spend a little bit of time on it till you get working on that formula, just as if people that are in math or in physics and those things, they spend time thinking about that, and lo and behold, they discover things that the rest of us don't discover, because we're not thinking about that. We're thinking about other things. And so since they've spent time there, Einstein and those people, other avenues, other ideas evolve. And they give that to us for us to follow if we don't. Now, Einstein had this wonderful idea and he gave that to us, and I never followed up on it. I don't know about the rest of you people. Some of you maybe have looked at it a little more closely than I have, and that's okay, because it headed somewhere. So now we have this kingdom of heaven idea, and it's within us. And so we're going there. And we can choose to go there now. Now there becomes a concept. And so the kingdom of heaven, what is your concept of it? Now, since through prayer and meditation, getting into the attitude of the kingdom of heaven, since you can now visit there presently, you don't have to wait till your demise. You can actually achieve that in this lifetime, in this moment, if you will, through that process of meditation, through the process of thought, through the process of evolvement, really, because you've evolved from the idea that it's unattainable until you die to the idea that it's now there. So, okay, so now you have that. So there it is. And that's a seed, if you will. You took this seed that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and you planted it. And so each day and each night when you sleep, and each time that you look at it, it grows a bit. And where does it grow to? What becomes your mustard seed plant that now has thousands or millions of seeds? What happened to this kingdom idea, and what further work have you done on it to revamp it in your own mentality? Where is it going? What are you filling in the kingdom? And then there are those that have this idea, and they fill up their kingdom with certain physical material things, thoughts of it, which is okay because that's their idea of what happiness or what leads to happiness. And then somewhere along the line, as they look at that, they become frustrated because not all of those things manifest, or because when they do manifest, they haven't thought them out clearly enough, and that perhaps it wasn't as it was first looked at. It came with some other things that they didn't want. And so now they have some problems with that, and they become embittered and they fall by the wayside, so to speak. And others look at that and look at their attempts to make their kingdom grow as perhaps their insights were in error, and so they begin to change those. They revamp the idea of the kingdom, and then they start filling it with certain other things, and they move more toward what we want to call the artistic ideas or the beautiful ideas of love and peace and joy and harmony, and they start filling their kingdom with that. And then along the way, as they have these, what we want to call, I'll call them, they're not physical, material ideas, they're spiritual ideas, they're They don't have physicality to them except in the manifestation of that physicality. And so as they start looking around and as they fill themselves with the concepts of love and peace and joy, okay, then they start finding out that as things begin manifesting, that perhaps they don't like the way in which their love and their peace and their joy is being manifested. Maybe they had an idea that love would manifest in a different way, or that peace would come along differently, or perhaps they didn't have to work as hard for it. And so they again become disappointed. And what happens to us in our constant renewal and our constant growth and our constant transformation is we have to keep giving up the old ideas of what love ought to look like, of the way that it's packaged, or the idea of what peace ought to look like and how it's packaged, or how it should feel. Because once we've judged how it should look like, or how it should be packaged, or how it should feel, then we're caught with that. And if it comes another way, we're like Percival, we don't recognize it. And it goes past us because we're not prepared for the reception of it. We have in our own mentalities it can only come in one direction or in one form. So we constantly have to be renewing our ideas or our thoughts of how it's going to manifest. And we have to allow ourselves to be open for any manner of manifestation, in any way, shape, or form, even if it looks like what's coming down the pike is not what we want. Because found within there may be the greatest secret of all. We have to be open for all aspects of what's presented to us through that concept of the kingdom. The moment we start excluding and the moment we start judging and leaving out certain things, we've limited ourselves. And so we continue to have to grow. We continue to have to open up in our concepts. And in looking at everything that comes, we must be of the idea that contained within there is truth, love, beauty, and harmony. And we must look at that aspect. And definitely there's certain things that we avoid or we leave out of our lives, and they become pretty obvious as to what they are. But even in those situations, that as we set those aside and leave them out, there's growth. Because we've learned that those are things that do not fit. Those are things that cannot enter therein. And so as we sleep, we must be sleeping on the proper ideas. And everything that we do, everything, every stage of growth is constantly open to further stages of growth.